What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Game Nights. This show is brought to you by Wizards of the Coast.
And this is a very exciting episode because we have the fans in the house, the winners of the last Game Nights auditions, Zach and Aiury. They are here to throw down with Jimmy and I. And we're not going to pull any punches, I got to say. We cannot let the fans win in our house. But before we get into the game, we got to talk about our sponsors, channelfireball.com/command. That's the place you want to go to get your Magic product, singles, anything at all. If you're going to upgrade your decks, or maybe you just don't have the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty cards that you're like me, you take a little while to upgrade, maybe you're not right away, or Streets of New Capenna right around the corner. The Channel Fireball Marketplace has great inventory. They've got tons of sellers. Their prices are amazing. You have a good service experience because all of the vendors there are licensed professional LGSs. So channelfireball.com/command. That's the place to go to buy everything.
And when you get those cards and you want to challenge Josh and myself, well, your deck better look pretty sweet. And the way you're going to do that is by outfitting it with Ultra Pro gear. They make the playmats, the dice, the sleeves, the deck boxes, every single piece of equipment you need to make your battlefield look awesome and feel awesome, because that's one of the best parts about Commander is flexing both the cards in your deck, but also the way that you're presenting them. Ultra Pro supplies all of that product. They have an amazing online digital store. You can also find the product at any of your local game stores. So by buying that stuff, you're also supporting the show.
Yeah, and Ultra Pro really does make the best stuff to protect your stuff too, right?
Yes.
We don't want our Magic cards to get dinged up in any way. You want them to retain their value. Now, we're about to get into the game, but I want to say there's something really exciting going on. We do it basically every time we run a fan episode, so maybe you saw it coming.
Yeah.
If you're a patron of our show and our content, right now we are running the auditions for the next fan episode of Game Night. So if you've ever dreamed of getting knighted and sitting at the table with Jimmy and I as a guest on an episode of Game Nights, this is your chance. The auditions are going to be open for a number of weeks here. We're not going to give all the details right now, but there's a link in the show notes if you want to look for that. Also, we're going to talk about it more at the end of the episode. But long story short, the Game Nights auditions are open. If you want to be on the show, you need to audition.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance opportunity. You got to find out how to do it, so stick around to the end of the show.
All right. Well, before we can pick the fans for the next episode, we got to find out who won this episode with these fans. Let's get into it. How's it, everybody? This is a very special episode of Game Nights. If you remember last year, we held auditions for a bunch of our patrons and Kickstarter supporters.
We went through hundreds and hundreds of different auditions, and there were so many amazing people that applied, and we found two guests that we think you're gonna absolutely love.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach, and I'm one of the fan audition winners this year. I have been a longtime viewer of both Game Nights and the Command Zone podcast, so I think I know all of Jimmy and Josh's tricks.
Yeah, I'm Aiury. I'm really excited to be here on Game Nights. I'm ready to snipe Josh out of this game, take Jimmy out, make some deals with my boy Zach. We're the fans. I know we're gonna get picked on. We gotta stick up for the team. Let's get it cracking.
So the commander I brought today is Emiel the Blessed. So this is a blink deck. I've got tons of creatures in my deck with strong ETB effects. And, using my commander's ability, I'll be able to reuse those creatures over and over again. Also, I've got a +1/+1 counter sub-theme for bigger bodies and even more value.
And the commander I'm playing today is Lyzolda, the Blood Witch.
True power requires sacrifice.
This is a Rakdos sacrifice deck with a bit of a twist. Yeah, it wants to play cheap creatures and make tokens to use as sack fodder. But what it really wants to do is protect Lyzolda, give her infect, and use her ability to poison my opponents to snipe them right out of the game.
And my deck is Shadrix Silverquill. This commander's ability is really interesting because I have to share the wealth with everybody else. So while I go wide with tokens, especially flyers, I have to let them take advantage of my commander too. So hopefully I can generate just a little more value than everyone else and grind them out in the long run.
And the commander I'm playing today is Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. I'm hoping to beat my opponents with cards from their own decks. My goal is to ramp hard, remove any big threats, and maybe even double up my commander's trigger so I can look at multiple opponents' decks. and then I can take everyone's win cons and make them my own.
All right, players, let's go.
It's time to throw down.
You know what they say? Victory is in the eye of the beholder.
All right, giddy up.
Welcome to the table, everyone. As always, let's reveal our Ultra Pro playmats. Whoosha! Ooh.
Game night themed.
Wait a
Well,
second.
mostly. Okay, well, it is both of your first time on the show, so we know what that means. It's time for the knighting ceremony. Aiury, I dub thee Sir Aiury, arise!
And Zach, I dub thee Sir Zach. Arise!
Feels good, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to Game Nights.
Only one may stand.
All right, everybody ready?
Yes,
betcha.
sir.
Okay, let's do this. I will draw for turn, and I will play a Myriad Landscape, and I will pass.
All right, I will draw for turn. I will play a Lava Claw reaches tapped, and I will pass.
I will draw for turn. I will play a Temple Garden tapped and pass to you.
All tap land so far. I'm so proud of us.
I will draw my card for turn. I will play a Swamp.
Ah.
All right, go for it, Josh.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw. I am going to play Sunken Hollow, unfortunately tapped. Then I'll tap one, and I will play an Expedition map.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
This card is not ramp, but I do have a few key lands in my deck that I'd like to go find, and that's gonna allow me to do it later in the game, so I'm off to a good start. And I will pass the turn.
Thank you. I will untap, draw for turn. I will play a Badlands for turn. Nice. All right, I got nothing else to do. Pass turn.
All right, I will untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a Sun Petal Grove, and I will play a Prosperous Innkeeper.
Oh.
Oh,
And when he enters, he makes a treasure token.
that is a good looking treasure token, I gotta say.
Prosperous Innkeeper is actually a really good card in this deck. Because of my commander's activated ability, it's gonna make me treasure that I can store up for mana later for more explosive turns. Pass it over to you.
Okay, I will draw my card for turn. I will play a Marsh Flats. I'm gonna crack my Marsh Flats, going to 39, and I'm gonna find a Scrubland and put it onto the battlefield. And then I'm gonna tap 2 mana and play an Arcane Signet.
Classic.
Pass to you, Josh.
Okay, I will untap, I will draw. I'm gonna start by paying 2, and then I will sacrifice my Expedition map, and I will search my library, and I will find Ancient Tomb, and I will play that as my land for turn.
My favorite land.
Then I'm gonna tap the Ancient Tomb for 2 mana, so I'll go down to 38.
Wise man.
And I will play Prismatic Lens, and then I will also play Mishra's Bauble.
Wow.
So this is a pretty good turn for me. I get a good land out. I get 2 other cards onto the battlefield. 1 ramps me. And the Bauble's there so that I can look at other libraries and choose who I want to, cast spells from their deck. But in this case, it also is just going to draw me a card, and I need to make sure I hit my land drops, so I'm probably just going to use it for that. And then I'll pass the turn.
Okay, I'll draw for turn. I will play a Swamp for my turn.
Nice.
And I will play my commander, Lyzolda the Blood Witch.
True power requires sacrifice.
Hey.
Hey.
So my commander's here. I'm already on my game plan this early. I don't think anyone's gonna remove her this turn, so I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm not sure what Aiury is up to, but it's guaranteed gonna be a ton of value and a lot of damage. So it's something to be really careful of when you play creatures out because they might just get blown up out of nowhere.
Pass turn.
All right, I will untap, upkeep, and draw for turn. And we'll play a Forest as my land for turn. And then I will cast Rishgar, Pima Renegade.
Ooh,
Nice.
good card.
And when he enters, I will put a +1/+1 counter on Prosperous Innkeeper and Rishgar.
3/3 and a 2/2.
And when Rishgar enters, that will trigger Prosperous Innkeeper, and I will gain 1 life.
Sweet.
So Rishkar is a Swiss Army knife in this deck. With Emiel's activated ability, I can flicker him and put counters on my whole board, which then lets my creatures tap for mana, so he's an all-star. I will sacrifice the treasure for a white mana, and I will tap Prosperous Innkeeper for a green because of Rishkar's ability, and I will cast Wall of Omens. And I will draw a card. And that will again trigger Prosperous Innkeeper, and I will gain 1 life. Going to 42.
Nice.
And I will pass it over to you, Jimmy.
I will untap. I will draw for turn. All right, I will play a Godless Shrine tapped. Then I will tap 2 and play a Bitter Blossom.
Oh, that's a good card.
Yeah. My deck loves tokens, and this is a consistent machine that's gonna put one out every single turn. Not to mention, in a pinch, they're a great blocker.
his commander can give 1/1 counters to his whole board. I have a single flyer in my deck. If he makes a ton of flyers and we let this get out of hand, I'm pretty much dead in the water.
And with that, I will pass my turn to you, Josh.
Okay, on your end step, Jimmy, I'm gonna sacrifice my Mishra's Bauble, which allows me to look at the top card of a player's library. Jimmy, I'll look at yours since it's close.
Is it a land?
Depends on what kind of mood you're in. And then I'll go to my turn. I will untap. And then the Mishra's Bauble trigger goes on the stack, so I can draw a card during my upkeep, and then I will draw for turn. All right, then I will tap 4, and I will play Everflowing Chalice, kicked twice. So it has 2 counters on it. And I tapped Ancient Tomb to do that, so I'll go to 36. And then I will play a Port of Carfell as my land for turn. And then I will pass the turn. Go ahead, Aiury. Just looking at the battlefield right now, feels like everybody else is mostly playing good, fair, clean Magic, but I'm cool with it. Xanathar costs 6 mana, so slow game is exactly what I'm looking for.
All right, I'll go to my untap and draw. I will play an Emergence Zone for turn, and then I will play a Rakdos Guildmage.
Uh-oh.
This card is great because I can sack it with Lyzolda to deal 2 damage and draw a card, but it also in the late game can make red tokens, snipe some problems on the board, so I feel set up.
All right, Jimmy, I don't like the look of that Bitter Blossom, so I'm gonna come at you for 3.
Okay, well, I can't block, but I can't be sad about it. I'll go to 36.
That's commander damage. And then I will pass the turn to you, Zach.
Thank you, sir. I will untap, I will upkeep and draw. All right, I will play Yasharn, Implacable Earth.
Oh no.
This card is so good in Emiel. It nets me cards and it shuts down a lot of effects. But unfortunately, Aiury's entire deck synergizes around sacking creatures, so I know this is gonna be target number 1.
This shuts down my whole deck. What am I gonna do? I just need to kill this creature. I can't play the game with it here.
When he enters the battlefield, I will find a forest and a plains,
Oh, that's pretty nice.
and those will go into my hand. And that will trigger Prosperous Innkeeper, and I will gain 1 life. Going to 43. Then I will play a plains as my land for turn, and I will tap the plains and Rishkar and cast Revisits.
Oh.
Ramping out here.
And I will find a Scattered Groves, and that will enter the battlefield tapped. And then I will pass the turn to you, Jimmy.
Okay, I'm going to untap. On my upkeep, Bitter Blossom is going to trigger, and I will lose 1 life, going to 35, and put a 1/1 Flying Fairy onto the battlefield. And then I will draw my card for turn. I'm going to play Kabira Plateau tapped as my land for turn. And then I will tap 3 mana and cast Twilight Drover.
Ooh, there's gonna be a lot more 1/1 flyers.
This card is amazing in my deck because with my commander, I have to share the benefits, which means I might be handing out free 2/1 tokens to my opponents. Fortunately, when those leave the battlefield, Twilight Drover will see it, grow bigger, and bring the advantage back to my side of the table. Pass that turn back to you, Josh.
Okay, on your end step, Jimmy, I am going to tap 2 and my Myriad Landscape and sacrifice it. And I will find 2 swamps and put them onto the battlefield tapped. And then we'll go to my untap, and I will draw for turn. All right, so first off, I am going to tap 6, and I'm going to play Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. So my deck really wants to get its commander out as fast as possible. It's turn 5, so I am 1 turn early, but this is an upkeep trigger. So Xanathar has to live for a full rotation of the table before he's going to do anything, which is always scary. I hope the table just won't pay attention to him, or me. And because I used Ancient Tomb as part of that, I will lose 2 life and go to 34. Then I'm gonna pay 2 and play a Liquid Metal Torque. And then I will play a Bojuka Bog. And I guess, Jimmy, I'll get rid of your graveyard.
Sure. My Marsh Flats gets exiled.
Maybe there's a Sun Titan in your deck? I don't know. Okay, and then that's all I can do. So, Aiury, it's your turn.
All right, I'll go to my untap step and I'll draw for turn.
It comes to my turn. I don't like these developments on this board. I have to kill Yasharn, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to be in this game. I see Zach is completely tapped out, so this looks like my chance.
All right, Zach, it looks like gonna have to terminate on Yasharn.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Okay.
And Yasharn will die.
Goodbye.
All right, I gotta admit, I kind of deserve that, and honestly, I think we're hopefully a little bit more even now.
I really want to hit my land drop. So, I'll activate Lyzolda's ability, sacrificing Rakdos Guildmage. And because that is a black and a red creature, I will deal 2 damage to Jimmy's Twilight Drover.
No! Bye-bye.
And then I will draw a card. Did you draw a land? And no land. Pass to you.
Yeah, so in this deck, I usually really need to ramp out to get my game plan going. I'm really nervous to be missing land drops this early.
And then I'll pass turn to you, Zach.
I will untap.
Well, here's somebody who does not have land problems.
Yeah.
I will draw for turn.
Big surprise out of the green deck.
I will play a forest as my land for turn. Then I will play Sword of Hearth and Home.
Oh, that's a good card. This sword is really, really good, especially in Zach's deck. Just the ability to get a land into play is awesome, but the fact that he's gonna get to blink his creatures for value, Zach is clearly in the lead in this game and already pulling far ahead.
Then I will move the sword onto Prosperous Innkeeper. It is now a 4/4.
Pro white green.
All right, and then I will move to combat. And Jimmy, I think I'm gonna come at you with Prosperous Innkeeper.
Okay, I'm gonna block with my Fairy Rogue.
It dies.
Goodbye, Fairy Rogue. See you soon.
See you soon.
And just to be on the safe side, I will tap 2, and I will re-equip the Sword of Hearth and Home to Rishkar.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I'll pass it over to you, Jimmy.
Okay, I'm going to untap. On my upkeep, Bitter Blossom will trigger. I'll make another Fairy Rogue.
He's back.
Hey, it's back.
And I'll lose a life going to 34. Then I'll draw my card for turn. I'm going to cast Shadrix Silverquill. My commander is a ton of fun because it really involves the rest of the table. I get one of these effects, but I have to give one to someone else too, which often means I'm giving an opponent some sort of benefit. Hopefully I can use that to make some friends and get some free deals. All right, I'm gonna go to combat on my turn, and Shadrix is going to trigger, which means I gotta make some choices here.
Listen, between me and you, I'm not real optimistic that Jimmy's ever gonna help me out with his commander, so this is almost always gonna be bad for me twice. My opponent will get something cool, and Jimmy will get something cool.
Aiury, I saw you missing land drops, and that is very near and dear to my heart. You can take a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jimmy.
Yeah, just don't kill my stuff, thank you.
Extra sack fodder.
And then I will draw a card and lose 1 life. Going to 33, and also missing my land drop.
Boy.
Pass turn to you, Josh. Both me and Aiury have missed land drops here, and that's really bad, especially looking at how far Zach is ramped and how much mana rocks that Josh has. If this keeps up, we might find ourselves in a really tough position.
And then I'll go to my upkeep, and Xanathar will trigger. And Zach, I'm gonna choose you.
Okay.
So I get to look at the top card of your library, and I can play it and pay manas over mana of any color. So the thing I like about Zach's deck and why I'm choosing him to target here is because he's got enter the battlefield effects on most of his cards, which means when I play those, I'm gonna get value right away.
It's not a land, unless it's a land with a lot of text.
Okay, well, I know what that is now, and I'm gonna draw my card for turn. Okay, I think I am gonna play that card off of Zach's deck. So I will play Palace Jailer.
Oh.
When that enters the battlefield, I become the Monarch.
Nice. This card is removal on a stick, but more importantly, it introduces Monarch to the table. And 2 of us here have been missing land drops, so it's actually gonna be really good for us if we can get that.
All right, he gets Palace Jailer. Well, that's not bad for him, but with the Sword of Hearth and Home, if I can get it back under my control, it's really strong in my deck. I'll be able to exile a ton of creatures and just lock down the Monarch.
And I did tap Ancient Tomb again, so I'll go to 32.
Nice.
All right, and then when Palace Jailer enters the battlefield, I can exile something. I think I gotta exile Shadrix.
Poopy.
It does feel like we're picking on you, I'm sorry.
Just this episode?
So on board right now, Jimmy has a flyer, can definitely take the Monarch back. And when he does that, he'll get his commander, but that'll be after combat. So Shadrix won't trigger on that turn. So that'll definitely be a disadvantage for Jimmy.
Normally I'd be a little upset about my commander being removed, but it's gonna come back as soon as someone else takes the Monarch. And I don't know if you know this, but the next opponent has this convenient 2/1 flyer that can do just that.
Then I get to look at the top card, because it's a new card now. See what that is.
Not a land.
Oh, the value here. Boy.
Josh looks excited about this.
I don't like this.
I don't like the sound
No,
of
this
that.
card is really bad for me.
Oh.
So I don't want to cast it, and I also don't want him to have it, but I don't really have any of the option to not have him have it or me cast it.
I was terrified of Josh's face when he looked at the top card of Zach's library. I have no idea what this could be. I just hope it doesn't hurt me too.
Unfortunately, when I look at the second card from Zach's library here, it's something that I do not want to cast. Since I can't get any more value off of Zach's deck, I guess I'm just gonna have to do what I always do. Draw more cards. All right, after that, I'm gonna tap 2 black, and I'm gonna cast Sign in Blood.
Oh, nice.
So I'll target myself, and I will draw 2 cards, and I will go to 30. I just want to note that no one's done any damage to me. This is 10 damage to myself. Okay, then I'm going to tap 2, and I will play Lightning Greaves.
Whoa.
This is the exact kind of card that can give Josh's deck a really explosive turn, because now he can play a card off of someone else's deck and equip it with the Greaves and swing with it or use its abilities that same turn.
I will move to equip Lightning Greaves to Xanathar.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna play a swamp as my land for turn, and I will cast Demonic Tutor.
Knowing Josh Lee Kwai and how his decks typically are built and interact, I have a bad feeling about this tutor.
And I will search my library, and I will find this card, and I will put it into my hand. It's funny because my deck doesn't really have a lot of like really awesome stuff that it's trying to do. I mostly want to play the cards off my opponent's libraries, so I'm just gonna keep that plan in motion. I'm going to equip my Lightning Greaves to the Palace Jailer, and I'm gonna go to combat. And Jimmy, I'm gonna swing at you for 2.
I'm okay with taking 2, so I'll take 2 and go to 31.
Okay. Then I'm gonna slide the Lightning Greaves to Xanathar.
How does he wear the boots?
On one of the
Oh, no, the
tentacles.
tentacles, yeah.
Okay, and then I will go to my end step, and because I am the Monarch, I will draw a card.
Oh, so nice.
All right, I'll go to my untap and then my draw step. Heart of the cards.
Land.
Miss it again.
By this point, I haven't drawn a land the entire game. I want to draw more cards. I really need to make sure I ramp out. So let me just get my Monarch.
You know, Jimmy, you've been so generous to give me this inkling, so all I can do is get you your commander back and swing at Josh for 2 in the air. Come on.
So the attack here from Aiury, I mean, it's only 2 damage, but it gives Jimmy Shadrix back now, so he's gonna have it when combat starts on his turn, which means he's gonna get the trigger. It's a little disappointing. All right, I cannot block, so I'll go to 28.
Yes!
And that means you become the Monarch. And that triggers Palace Jailer, and Shadrix comes back
Woohoo!
to Jimmy's board.
Do we get to play the animation again?
Sure.
Every time. Yes, this is awesome. I am really glad that I gave Aiury that token now because it is paying off so well for me. And I think I just made an ally.
All right, and then I'm gonna hunt for another land drop and tap 2 to activate Lyzolda's ability, sacrificing the Inkling.
Okay.
And since it is a black creature, I will draw a card.
Come on, land.
Let's go. Oh,
Another miss.
no.
I have 37 lands in this entire deck. I have over 10 ramp spells and I haven't drawn any of either of them? What's going on?
Well, that's not good.
I still do have a play. I'm gonna tap this bad lands and send Embereth Shieldbreaker on an adventure, destroying the Lightning Greaves. Ooh. Try to help the table out.
Nice. Okay.
I don't like this Lightning Greaves. This sword for Zach, I feel like it's a pretty redundant effect in his deck. He's gonna do that anyways, but this Greaves for Josh, I feel like he can get out of hand. I wanna take this out early.
Okay, yep, Lightning Greaves is destroyed.
Love to see it. Oh, this is great. You gotta love it when your opponents get rid of your problems for you. This is awesome.
And then I will exile this card and I can cast the creature side later on.
Nice.
Very nice.
And then I will go to my end step, and because I'm the Monarch, I'll draw a card. And then I will move to discard, and since I have 9 cards in hand, I will discard 2. And then I will pass turn.
All right. Thank you, sir. I will untap, and I will draw for turn. That's what I thought. So I draw my card for turn, and it's exactly what I thought it was. It's a board wipe for artifacts and enchantments. I don't think I'm gonna play this now that I've got the setup I have, but this is a good insurance policy later. All right, Josh, well, you were so kind to me last turn. I think I will attempt to repay the favor, and I will cast Generous Gift. Targeting Xanathar.
Oh, Mr. Kingpin.
I actually target Xanathar here just to create a pathway for an attack so I can trigger Sword of Hearth and Home. Because the Sword of Hearth and Home has protection from white and green, and Generous Gift makes a green elephant.
Okay, well, evidently I was more scary than I thought I was. I can't lose Xanathar here because I have very few cards left in my hand and most of them don't do much. Again, I'm counting on using my opponent's decks, so I gotta protect my commander.
Okay, I'm gonna pay 2.
Oh.
And I am going to mana drain the Generous Gift.
Very well. Generous Gift gets countered.
Okay, and I will get 3 mana during my main phase.
All right, now that my one pathway for the sword trigger got shot down, I have to start looking for other avenues. So hopefully I can make an ally out of Aiury. Okay, Aiury, can we make a deal?
What's the
You
deal?
can block me currently. I doubt you would want to because you'll lose your commander. Because I can't get through Jimmy, I can't get through Josh. If you let me hit you, what I can do is basically get back Palace Jailer and I can take his commander.
Oh my goodness. Until you lose the Monarch.
Until I lose the Monarch, this is true.
I think that's fine.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will go to combat.
Okay.
And Aiury, I will swing Rishkar, Pima Renegade, at you for 5.
Okay, I won't block. I will take 5 and go to 35.
Nice.
And because I dealt combat damage to you, I will become the Monarch, and my Sword of Hearth and Home will trigger. I will target the Palace Jailer because it is a creature I own. So Palace Jailer will be exiled, and I will search my library, and I will find a Plains. And that and the Palace Jailer will enter the battlefield under my control.
Untapped.
Nice.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really think about the fact that Sword of Hearth and Home allows Zach to target creatures that he owns, not just that he controls. Which means it was a bad idea to pick him to steal cards from his library because he can just easily get them back. That was not smart of me.
And that has a few triggers. That will trigger Prosperous Innkeeper, and I will go up to 44 life.
Wow.
And then Palace Jailer will trigger. I'm already the Monarch, but I do get to exile a creature. So I know initially we made a deal for me to target Xanathar with this Palace Jailer trigger, but honestly looking around the board, Jimmy just hits me with a 1/1, and then Josh has it at the beginning of his turn anyway. So Shadrix is definitely the right call here. I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. And yeah, I think just to slow you down a little bit, Jimmy, again, I'm gonna target Shadrix.
He's such a hot topic these days. All right, fine. He goes away.
The only good news here is that Zach goes along with what my original plan was and turns off Shadrix for Jimmy's turn. I mean, it's the same situation where the Fairy Rogue can get in, steal the Monarch, Shadrix will come back on the battlefield, but Jimmy won't get that trigger. So unless he's got a removal spell, it's gonna slow him down a lot.
All right, and then, because I control a creature with 5 power, the Great Henge costs 4 mana.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Wow, this is such a good card, especially in Zach's deck, because whenever he blinks a creature using his commander or that sword, he's gonna get to draw cards off of this, and it's gonna give him so much card advantage, it's gonna bury us if we're not careful.
And lastly, I will tap the Great Henge and Prosperous Innkeeper to cast Wood Elves.
Oh my gosh.
So tapping the Great Henge, I will gain 2, going to 46. Then Prosperous Innkeeper will trigger, and I will go to 47. Then the Great Henge will trigger from the Wood Elves entering. It will get a +1/+1 counter, and I will draw a card.
Going pretty good over there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Too bad. And then I have the Wood Elves enter the battlefield ability, and I will find Canopy Vista, and put that into play untapped.
All right, who's got a board wipe? Even if it kills my Xanathar, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Zach's deck is operating on all cylinders and he has all the pieces going. 1/1 counter synergies, blink synergies, has a card draw engine online. We're gonna have to slow him down in some way or this is gonna be a real quick game.
And I think that's all I can do. Over to you, Jimmy.
I will untap on my upkeep, Bitter Blossom will trigger. I'll lose a life and make another Fairy Rogue. Nice. And then I'll draw my card for turn. Great, it's a land. I'm gonna go to combat, and Zach, I'm gonna swing at you with 1/1 Fairy Rogue. My turn here is pretty simple. I want the Monarch, and it also comes with my commander. So this attack is as basic as it gets.
All right, well, I have no flyers, so I will take 1. Going to 46.
Okay. And that means I take the Monarch from you.
And that will trigger Palace Jailer, and Shadrix comes back. So Jimmy hits me to get the Monarch back. We knew this was coming, but fortunately, his commander triggers on combat, so at least he misses that trigger. So, mission accomplished.
Okay, I think this will do. I have a really good answer for Zach's board, but I'm not feeling great about it because it also comes with a bit of a downside. At the same time, if we don't do anything, Zach's gonna be able to play tons of creatures, draw a ton of cards, and I don't think we're gonna be able to keep up with that. So I've got to pull the trigger. All right, and then I am going to tap for 6 mana, and I'm going to overload Winds of Abandon.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is definitely an answer to a lot of what I have going on here, and I'm a little sad to see it, but this is gonna net me a lot of mana.
I sort of wish it was just, a regular board wipe that just killed creatures and then nothing else happened, just killed the creatures. Why does it have to be one that puts lands into play? This doesn't feel like it's really gonna solve our problem.
So this is gonna exile every single creature I don't control, and then you get a basic land on the battlefield for each creature exiled this way.
All right, well, I'll put Xanathar back in the command zone. All right, so I'll put Lyzolda back in the command zone.
And I will exile 5 creatures and tutor 5 basics.
And you two get 1 basic each.
Nice.
So look, I'm kind of helping you out, Aiury.
So this is a weird board wipe, but I get a land off it. That's all I ever wanted. I mean, Zach does get 5 lands, but he was already ramped out. Who cares? What's 5 lands gonna do for him?
Winds of Abandon. It's free real estate.
All right, I'm gonna move to my end step because I'm the Monarch. I will draw a card, and I'll pass turn to you, Josh.
Okay, I'm gonna untap all of my stuff, get all that sorted out, and then I will draw for turn. And then my mana drain from earlier will trigger and add 3 colorless mana to my mana pool. And my commander costs 8 now. I'll use the mana drain mana and then pay 5 more and recast Xanathar.
Sweet.
I'm a little bit low on cards here, and my deck really just wants to play the cards out of other people's libraries. It's not very proactive if it's not doing that, so I don't have a lot of choice. Get my commander back out there, wait till my next turn, maybe represent some counter magic or something, and hope that people ignore me.
I am Garth One-Eye, and this is my tale. The night my eye was taken, I barely escaped. I changed my name, learned powerful magic, Black Lotus, baby, then returned and vanquished my foes. Finally, I was safe until a new enemy appeared. My own thinning hairline. Were it not for Keeps, the simple and stress-free way to keep your hair, my locks may have been lost for good. Of course, bald can be beautiful, but I'd already lost an eye. I didn't want to lose my hair too. And Keeps made things easy. With virtual doctor consultations, 24/7 support, and convenient home delivery, I never had to face the terror of traffic and waiting rooms. Keeps plans cost only half of what you pay at the pharmacy, and treatments start at just $10 a month. But you must act fast. Keeps can save the hair you have, but it's not regrowth. It cannot bring back what's lost. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/nights to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/nights with a K to get your first month free. Keeps.com/nights.
Jimmy, are you studying?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Trade's coffee quiz and I don't wanna fail.
What, trade the coffee subscription service? It's not that kind of quiz. It just asks you what you like.
Yeah, but still, I don't know much about coffee.
You don't have to. That's the whole point. Trade's coffee experts taste hundreds of roasts and use technology to find your perfect match. Then they ship it to you at no additional charge. Plus, Trade guarantees you'll love your first bag, or they'll replace it for free. Trade pulls from America's best local roasters and ensures the beans they sell are always fresh and ethically sourced. I was sent a bag from Anodyne Roasting Co. that was absolutely delicious, and the subscription is totally hassle-free. You can cancel or skip shipments at any time.
All right, I've done it. I finished the quiz, and I think I aced it.
2 weeks later.
This is really good.
Yeah, looks like all that studying actually paid off.
Whatever.
Right now, Trade is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags when you go to drinktrade.com/nights or click the link in the description below. That's more than 16 cups of coffee for free. To get started, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/nights, nights with a K, and start your journey to your perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/nights for $20 off your first 3 bags. Whoa, easy there, buddy. Hey guys, it's me, Tatsunari Toad Rider. Now, I love bouncing around on my toad friend Kami, but I'll say this, the ride is far from smooth. That's why, when I want some bops while we hops, I use my Raycon wireless earbuds. Whether I'm listening to frog and roll music or a riveting historical podcast, Raycons deliver top-tier audio quality at just half the price of other premium brands. And no matter how choppy the hoppin' gets, my Raycons never fall out thanks to their optimized gel tips for that perfect in-ear fit. Plus, with their super sleek design, the everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They truly are a croak of genius. And don't worry, with Raycon's 8 hours of playtime and 32-hour battery life, my froggy friend can frolic to their heart's content, and I'll be listening all the while. Turns out Raycons really are the total package. All right, we'll see ourselves out. Hi-ho, Kami!
Right now, fans of Game Nights can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/nights. That's buyraycon.com/nights, nights with a K, to save 15% on Raycons. Again, buyraycon.com/nights.
I am just gonna proceed at instant speed, so Aiury, go ahead.
I don't like the sound of that. I'm gonna go to untap and draw for turn. This will be another land. Ooh. I will play a Blade Step Pathway for turn.
You're right back in it.
Love to see it.
And then I'm gonna do another favor for the table, I think. I'm gonna cast Chaos Warp. Oh.
Yay!
What are you targeting?
Xanathar. Just kidding.
Maybe next time, but for now, targeting the Great Henge.
You really got to appreciate the fact that Aiury hasn't been playing much this game and removing the big threats at the table. That is a true homie move. Thanks.
All right, so the Great Henge gets shuffled back in.
I really hope he doesn't get the Great Henge again.
It's happened.
I don't think there's anything you could flip that would be better than the Great Henge here, so this feels pretty safe.
All right, well, this is great. I mean, it's probably great. It actually kind of depends on what Zach flips off of the back half of Chaos Warp here. Let's not celebrate quite yet. Let's see what happens.
Ari, could you give me a cut?
Of course.
Ooh, nice cut.
There's a lot of potential for good things out of this deck, so let's roll the dice. All right, now I flip the top card, and if it's a permanent, comes into play.
No permanents?
Oh, it's a land.
It's not so bad.
I'm okay with that.
That's according to plan. Yeah, good job, good job. All right, this is the perfect outcome. Get rid of Great Henge and the card draw that it gave him. Without card draw, I'm not as worried about Zach having so much mana. It's unlikely that he'll be able to use it all.
Well, could have been an instant or sorcery, so guess I'll take it.
All right, with 2 more of my mana, I will cast Embereth Shieldbreaker out of exile.
Nice.
And then I will pass the turn.
You know, I feel like I'm doing pretty well here managing the board. Imagine what I can do when I get more lands.
All right, I will untap many lands,
Oh my lord.
What is that, like 4 times the amount I have?
and I will draw for turn. All right, gonna start with 3 mana for Elemental Bond.
Well, we tried to get rid of the card draw, but we failed.
Dang it. Oh man, okay, well, you remove one threat, you get another. Zach's deck looks like it's just gonna get right back onto his action plan here, and that doesn't make me very happy.
And then I will finally cast my commander, Emiel, the Blessed.
Yay.
And that will trigger Elemental Bond, and I will draw a card.
Oh gosh.
All right, so my commander is here, and with the setup I have, once I start getting some creatures on the board, and I'm able to flicker them with Emiel, Elemental Bond is gonna draw me a lot of cards. Then, I will tap 2 to play Lightning Greaves. And I will move to equip the Lightning Greaves to Emiel.
Yep.
All right, and lastly, I will cast Master Splicer.
Uh-oh.
And when he enters with a Golem friend. And that Golem will trigger Elemental Bond, and I will draw another card.
His hand is loaded.
It's pretty impressive. Even with all of us actively trying to stop him and destroying his things, Zach's deck is very resilient. He is still the player that I am the most worried about.
When the Golem enters, that will trigger Emiel, and I will add a green and put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Okay. So it's a 4/4?
It's a 5/5 actually, because Master Splicer pumps
Oh,
it.
right. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, let's go to combat, and Aiury, you did take out my Great Henge, so I will swing at you for 4 with Emiel.
All right, that's commander damage, huh?
It is.
I'll take it. And I'll go to 31.
All right, and I'm all tapped out. Over to you, Jimmy. So despite basically being targeted most of this game so far, I think I'm still in a pretty commanding position, so things are looking good.
His board looks the same as it did before we destroyed it last turn.
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna go to my upkeep. Bitter Blossom will trigger. I'll lose a life and make another 1/1. I will draw my card for turn. Okay, I'm going to tap for 6, and I will play Elspeth, Sun's Champion.
Come on.
Wow. So when I see this card, I'm immediately scared that Jimmy is going to wipe the board and destroy all the large creatures, because I just got Xanathar out, and it's a 5/6.
I love this Planeswalker. I could use it as a board wipe, but more importantly, put 3 1/1 humans onto the board, and then my commander can pump my entire team, making them huge threats over time. But I don't know if I want a board wipe. I kind of just want to put 3 1/1s out on the battlefield.
You can get +1/+1 counters on all of them.
Yeah, and if I board wipe, it only get rid of 2 of his creatures, and we don't really care so much about that, right?
I'm definitely not worried about the golem. That's not the problem.
Yeah. All right. I am going to +1 Elspeth, bringing her to 5, and I'm going to put 3 1/1 Josh Lee Kwais onto the battlefield.
It's a good looking token.
It's a good looking token. I'm gonna go to combat, and Shadrix will trigger. So I'm going to choose myself to put a +1/+1 counter on each of the creatures I control.
That's bad.
And then I will also allow you, Aiury, to draw a card and lose a life.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jimmy.
So, it looks like Jimmy's trying to look out for the fellow Rakdos player. I love that. I'm right here, bro. We got this.
Look, Aiury's been doing amazing things around the table, using removal spells on everyone else's big threats, so it's the least I could do. Okay, and then I will go to combat, and Zach, you're looking pretty scary over there. I'm gonna swing at you with 2 of the Fairy Rogues that don't have Summoning Sickness, and my Shadrix Silver Quill.
All right, I got no flyers. I'm taking 10. Going to 36.
And 6 of that is commander damage. And then in my second main phase, I'll play Bajuka Bog as my land for turn. And Zach, your good old graveyard's going bye-bye.
That gets exiled.
Nice.
And then I will go to my end step, and because I'm still the Monarch, I will draw a card and pass turn to you, Josh.
Okay, on your end step, Jimmy, I'm going to pay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Whoa.
And I am gonna play Stroke of Genius for 5. Targeting myself, so I'll draw 5 cards.
Sure.
And here's Josh Lee Kwai, drawing cards at instant speed. What else is new?
And I did use Ancient Tomb on that, so I will lose 2 and go to 26.
Oh boy.
All right, I will go to my untap, and I will work on untapping all this stuff. And then during my upkeep, Xanathar will trigger. I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna steal from the Blink deck.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I think it's yours, because you seem to have board wipes and things.
Yeah, have fun.
Okay, so I'll look at the top card of Jimmy's library.
Deck Tech, how do we feel about it?
Not great.
Man.
Not good, not good.
Ah, dang.
Then I will draw for turn. I'm supposed to play other people's decks, but I don't have to play my deck, which is not as cool. All right, I'm gonna play Cabal Coffers as my land for turn. Jeez. I've already got 5 swamps on the battlefield, so this effectively ramps me by 2 mana. That's just enough of an advantage that I'm gonna play my own cards out of my own hand this turn. But don't worry, I have an alternative way to play other people's cards. All right, I'm gonna tap Cabal Coffers and Ancient Tomb. And because I used Ancient Tomb as part of that, I will lose 2 life. I will add 2 blue to it, and I'm going to play
I think I know what this is.
Mind's Dilation.
Yes!
Uh-oh.
Wow, this card is super powerful. Josh is gonna get free spells off the top of our libraries throughout the rest of this game. Ooh, that's not gonna be good. It's gonna add up quick.
So I have a few really specific cards in my deck that I need to win the game. I really hope he can't steal them.
Honestly though, looking at it, it almost has a similar effect to Xanathar against my deck. If it's creatures, anything he plays, I can theoretically steal with Sword of Hearth and Home. So I'm not super worried.
And then I'll tap 2 black, and I will play Feed the Swarm.
Nice.
And I will target the Elemental Bond.
Come on.
Following through with the theme of dealing damage to myself.
Yeah, stop hitting yourself, Josh.
I'll take 3. And I will go to 21.
Okay, so that's another piece of my board gone. They just will not let up.
All right, and then I'm gonna go to combat. Zach, I will attack you with my Xanathar Guild Kingpin.
No lucks. Going to 31.
That's commander damage.
And then I'm gonna tap 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a Thought Vessel.
Cool.
Then I am going to tap 3, and I'm gonna play Toxic Deluge.
I knew it.
I'm gonna pay 5 life here, and I'll go to 16 and give everything -5, -5. So I really didn't want to do this because my life total is already very low. But Jimmy has a ton of creatures, and even without Elemental Bond, Zach is gonna be able to make a bunch of 3/3s on his next turn. So I feel like I have no choice. I gotta blow up the board.
Yep, that's my board gone.
Goodbye, Josh Lee Kwai.
And I will put Emiel in the command zone.
Wow, this takes care of a lot of the stuff on the board, but more importantly, Josh decided to keep his commander alive because that means mine also lives. This is the perfect board wipe for me. Clears everyone else's stuff out, and I get to keep humming along. Turns out combining Josh habits with Jimmy habits, he's just dying
Yeah.
instantly. Killing yourself.
Drawing cards, but I'm dealing damage to
I'm gonna
myself.
race to see whether I hurt myself or deck myself first.
Yeah, no kidding.
All in all, this is great for me. I don't even have to use cards out of my hand. Josh is killing himself. This is dope.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. So take it away, Aiury.
All right, I'm gonna go to untap, and then I will draw my card for turn. All right, I will cast Dark Petition, and I do have Spell Mastery, so I will tutor for a card and add 3 black mana to my mana pool.
Oh. Right after a board wipe, playing a card like Dark Petition is really good. Aiury is actually kind of back in the game right now, which is great.
Okay, since that's the first spell you've cast in a turn, can you exile the top card of your library?
All right.
I can cast it, but it's a land, so I can't. That's just gonna stay in exile.
Nice.
One of the downsides about Mind's Dilation is you can hit lands off of your opponent's deck, and you can't do anything with them, because it only lets you cast spells. So this is a whiff. Hopefully I'll get something better next time.
So I search my library, and I'll find this card and put it to my hand.
Cool.
And then I will use 2 of my floating black mana to cast Cathari Bomber.
Okay.
This isn't what I tutored for, but it's one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's a Rakdos creature, and it makes 2 tokens. If I can give Lyzolda Infect later on in the game, that's 6 damage off 1 card. I like that I can get this piece out now.
And then I still have 1 floating, so I will cast Unearth, targeting my Rakdos Guildmage.
Nice.
And then I will pass my turn.
Okay, well, I will untap, and I will draw for turn. All right, well, my board's looking a lot worse, but let's go ahead and start by recasting my commander, Emiel the Blessed.
Okay, welcome back.
Hashtag blessed. And that does count as the first spell you've cast this turn. So Mind's Dilation will trigger, and I will flip over the top card of your library, and it is Village Bellringer. So I will cast that without paying its mana cost, and when it enters the battlefield, it will untap all my creatures, which is 1 creature.
Nice.
So Xanathar is now untapped.
So Village Bellringer is actually a pretty strong piece in my deck. With the right board state, that's actually a very easy way to go infinite, so I'm sad to see it go, but Josh definitely could have hit worse things off of this Mind's Dilation, so I'll take it. And I will then cast Armorcraft Judge.
Oh.
When that enters the battlefield, 2 triggers go on the stack. I'm going to stack them so Emiel's trigger resolves first.
Makes
so
sense.
I will tap a green and put a +1/+1 counter on Armorcraft Judge. Cool. And then Armorcraft's trigger will resolve, and because there is 1 creature with a +1/+1 counter, I will draw a card.
Good sequencing.
So this is a bit of a feels bad. Normally you want to cast Armorcraft Judge when you have a massive board of +1/+1 counters to draw a massive amount of cards. Paying 4 mana to draw 1 card, it's not great.
So this is another card draw engine he's set up, but it's pretty mana intensive. It's gonna be slow, so I'm not super worried about it.
And then I will pay 2 to equip Emiel with Sword of Hearth and Home. And then I will move to equip Emiel with the Lightning Greaves.
Oh, I see.
And we're gonna go to combat, and Jimmy coming at Elspeth for 6.
Interesting.
So I decide to attack Elspeth here, and I know I could try to go for the sword trigger, but seeing how wide Jimmy's board is already getting and how strong those flyers are gonna be, I'm fine taking 1 for the team here.
Elspeth cannot block, and she's gonna take all that damage and go poo back to the underworld where she belongs.
I'm really glad that he hates Planeswalkers more than he loves values. This is great. I'm happy about it.
That leaves me with the 1 mana, so Jimmy, over to you, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and untap. Upkeep, Bitter Blossom will trigger, taking me to 28 life, and putting another Fairy Rogue onto the battlefield. Now I'll draw my card for turn. Okay, I am going to play a Westvale Abbey for turn.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite all-time lands, especially in a token deck. I'm gonna be making lots of creatures throughout this game, and if things go haywire, I can turn it into an incredible, scary demon that also has lifelink. But that's later on down the road, and I have to spend a lot of resources to do it, but it's a great backup plan. I'm going to tap 1 swamp, and I'm gonna cast Scheming Symmetry.
Oh.
And Aiury, you've been my friend this whole game, because you've been choked on mana, so I'm gonna choose you and I to both search for a card.
Oh. So Jimmy chooses me here. I appreciate it, friend. There's so many things I could get. I love this play.
And that's the first spell you've cast, Jimmy. So before you search, we're gonna flip over the top card of your library.
It's a Plains.
And it's a land, so it just gets exiled.
Oh, bummer. All right, ready? Let's tutor.
Let's do it.
Keep in mind, Josh has Xanathar out, so I would suggest not getting a card that he will want to take.
Oh, okay. Scheming Symmetry will tutor the best card in your deck if you want it to, and put it to the top of your library. But because of Josh's commander, he's gonna get to look at and potentially play any of those cards.
It doesn't matter as much for me because my commander is gonna let me draw the card that I tutor this turn. But this is a really interesting decision for Aiury.
So I guess, I don't know, I have a few options here. I could either get a land, I could get something that's not compatible with this deck at all, or I could just hope he thought I got a land and get something really good that I really don't want him to have.
Okay, what would I do in this situation? I think I would probably get something really good because I would assume that they would think I was gonna get something bad, so then they wouldn't pick me. But does I already know that I'm gonna think that way? They might think that I'm definitely gonna pick them, therefore they should get something bad so that when I do, I get something that I don't want, like a land or something like that.
All right, I'm gonna find this card,
And I'll find this card.
and those both go on top of our libraries.
So in the end, I just got a swamp.
Okay, I'm gonna move to combat. Shadrix will trigger. And then I will draw a card and lose a life. Going to 27. And Aiury, you're gonna get another 2-1. Because you're my best bud.
And you guys just have been best.
Well, yeah, that was the plan. Play the Rakdos deck, be friends with Jim.
Exactly.
He's never friends with me when I play that regular.
And then I will go to attacks, and once again, Zachary, Shadrix will swing at you for a total of 6 damage, double strike.
All right, I have no flyers. I will take 6 commander damage, going to 25.
How much commander damage you got now?
12.
So it's a little bit interesting now that Zach has taken 12 commander damage from Shadrix. Because Shadrix can pump itself and has double strike, it's not inconceivable that Jimmy could commander damage KO Zach, maybe even like next turn. So it's something Zach's gonna have to start worrying about.
Whoa, man. I mean, I am a little scary still, so can't say I blame him.
Okay, and then I'm going to tap 3 mana and cast a Woe Strider. Whoa, which means I get a goat. And then I will move to my end step, and I'll draw a card because I'm the Monarch, and pass turn to you, Josh.
All right, I will go to untap.
So much mana.
You guys both have tons of mana.
And then during my upkeep, Xanathar is gonna trigger and, So I think that looking at Aiury's deck is probably just too risky. So I'm just gonna pick Jimmy with my Xanathar trigger, just to be safe. I think I'm gonna target you this time, Jimmy.
Okay, have fun.
I will draw my card. All right, I'm gonna tap a blue, and I'm gonna delve away 5 cards from my graveyard, and I'm gonna play Set Adrift. Sure. And I'm gonna target Woe Strider.
Whoa!
So that goes on top of your library, Jimmy.
Yep, that's fine. This card is sneakily really good in Josh's deck because he can choose any non-land permanent he wants, put it on top of that player's deck, and then play it using his commander's ability. Really fun stuff, but I kind of wish he used it on someone else.
I'm gonna tap Cabal Coffers, but not with Ancient Tomb this time.
Okay.
To add 5 black to my mana pool. And I will use 3 of that to cast the Woe Strider off of Jimmy's deck. That will make a goat. We're goat bros. So now I have the Woe Strider, and it gives me 2 bodies, 2 blockers. Very important because my life total is very low. Also, it has an ability to sacrifice other creatures, which means if Zach goes to blink that Village Bell Ringer back to his side of the battlefield, I'll be able to sacrifice it in response, and I definitely don't want him to have that creature because it is a combo piece. Okay, so I still have 2 black floating. Okay, let's look.
Good times?
The funny thing is your card on top of your deck, Jimmy,
Yeah.
it does damage to me.
Incredible.
So Josh is saying that the card on top of Jimmy's library is gonna cause him to lose even more life. And all I have to say to that, do it.
And then I'm gonna add 1 mana to the 2 black I have floating, and I'll cast the top card of Jimmy's library, which is Anguish Unmaking. Honestly, I don't want to be playing this card because of the 3 life I have to pay to use it. But I really need to see what's underneath it on Jimmy's library to hope that I can string together enough value to get back in this game. So I just gotta bite the bullet and exile something. So I'll go to 13, first of all. I think it's probably the Sword of Hearth and Home, or maybe it's the Lightning Greaves. I think I'm gonna do the Lightning Greaves.
The Lightning Greaves will be exiled.
Lightning Greaves gets exiled. I will look at the top card of Jimmy's library.
Is it a good one?
It's a land, so I'll play it. It's Vault of the Archangel.
Oh, you can't use the other part of it.
I cannot activate it, but it's still a land, and let's see what the next card on your library is. It is a Soul Ring, so I'll cast that.
Okay, alright. Okay, what's next?
Let's see what the next card is. Oh, it's a really good card, but it's not good.
Right now?
It's not good if I have to cast it during my turn. How about that?
But you can't cast it anymore once it passes.
Right, I can only cast it now. All right, then I'm gonna pay a blue, and I'm gonna cast Mystic Remora. And I guess I should probably attack somebody. I think all things being equal then, I am more scared of the man with 15 mana or so. So Zach, I got a 5/6 coming at you.
All right, well, I will not block.
Okay.
And I will take 5, going to 20.
All right, and that's commander damage. Okay, and that's all I can do. So Aiury, you're up.
All right, I'll go to my untap step, and then I'll draw.
Man, somebody's deep in the tank over there. We could definitely lose out of nowhere at some point.
All right, it's time to get serious. Let's get back in this game.
All right, I'm gonna cast Mana Geyser.
Oh my lord.
All right.
All right, how many lands do we have that are tapped? I have 5.
I have 3 currently.
I have 13.
Ooh, that's 21 tap lands.
21 red mana.
Amazing.
So, I just cast Mana Geyser. I got 21 red mana. No matter what happens here, I think I'm gonna do some damage.
Wow, so Aiury's got a loaded hand, and this spells disaster for the rest of the table.
All right, so I have 2 triggers on that play. I got Mystic Remora. Are you gonna pay 4?
Nope.
All right, I'll draw. And then I have Mind's Dilation. Can you flip over the top card of your library?
Ooh,
It is Chef's Kiss.
that's bad.
Okay, so that has no targets, so I'm just gonna leave it in exile. I won't cast it.
All right.
I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed with the performance of my Mind's Dilation so far. 4 cards I've gotten a look at, and only one of them was castable. That is not what I was hoping for. 7 mana basically to get 3 mana so far. Great. So you got 21 red mana floating.
21 red mana.
A little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie.
Cool.
All right, I'll start by casting Lyzolda.
True power requires sacrifice.
Uh-oh. So 17 red floating.
17?
17.
Man, are we dead?
Only 17. So Aiury's got a ton of mana, a bunch of cards, and combo potential. This is such a dangerous spot for the rest of the table. The game might be over right now.
All right, and then I will use 5 more of that floating mana for a Siege Gang Commander.
Oh, nice.
And I will make 3 more goblins. Uh-oh.
So you have how much mana left?
I have 12 plus the swamp.
So this is a card I tweeted for earlier. It's gonna build on my board, give me plenty of sack fodder. This thing can kill someone on its own. This may not look like a lot of damage, but I got a big trick up my sleeve.
And then I'm going to cast Phyresis on Lyzolda.
So what does that do?
It gives her Infect.
That's really scary.
My one goal for coming here was to just infect one player, and I've got everything I need to do that this turn. So here we go, let's get it poppin'.
As that's on the stack, we all have to know what your plan is.
It's kill someone.
Infect means you only need 10 damage to kill someone. All that Lyzolda damage is now going to be infect damage. So between all the mana and all these bodies, someone's gonna die right now.
Maybe I counter this.
I mean, that is the one that you have to counter if it's anything. That's crazy.
Definitely kills one person with that. So counting up Aiury's board, there's definitely 10 damage worth of stuff that can be sacrificed. This means I could get infected out this turn if I allow this to happen. I gotta stop it. Okay, so first of all, on cast, there is a Mystic Remora trigger. Are you gonna pay the 4?
I will not pay the 4.
Okay, I'll draw. Okay, I'm gonna filter with 1 mana through Prismatic Lens to make it blue, and I will Swan Song
Oh!
the Phyresis.
The Josh Lee Kwai Classic!
And Aiury, you'll get a bird token.
Oh, that is a massive relief. I don't know if Josh thought that was going at him, but I'm glad to see him use his resource to keep me in the game.
So that was my game plan down the drain, but I have all this mana left over. I guess I just gotta do whatever I can. Might as well draw some cards, get some damage in. This doesn't look good.
So I'll use 2 more of my floating mana to sacrifice this Inkling token and draw a card.
So now you've got 9 floating?
9 floating.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna spend 8 more of my floating mana to activate Rakdos Guildmage twice and make 2/2/1 goblins. with haste. Oh, they have haste. But they do exile to be in next end step.
Oh.
That's fair.
And I can't use that last mana I have floating, so I'm just gonna let it dissolve. All right, and then because you have the Monarch, Jimmy, I think I'm gonna swing both these goblins at you.
Okay. I am just not gonna block. And I'll take 4 damage going to 23.
And I become the Monarch.
Congratulations.
Now I'm gonna go to end step, my 2/1 goblins are gonna exile, and I'll draw from Monarch. All right, pass to you.
Oof, that counterspell really took the wind out of Aiury's sails, but we now know that Aiury has the ability to one-shot someone out of nowhere, so I'm feeling pretty scared.
All right. Josh, I don't believe you have any open blue at the moment.
I do not.
Okay.
What a question.
Okay, well, I've been targeted this whole game. I've been board wiped. Well, you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So, the first thing I will do is attempt to cast Avenger of Zendikar.
Oh god.
Avengikar.
So that will make
13 Vinnies.
Emiel would trigger on the Avenger entering, but I will choose not to put a +1/+1 counter on him.
Okay.
So this card is always strong. Specifically in this deck, it produces so many creatures. It's a great blink target, but with my current setup, it's gonna be nuts.
Okay, on that cast, I have a Mind's Dilation trigger. Can you flip over the top card of your library for me,
Let's
please?
see what we get. Temple.
All right, I will remain in exile. Man, remarkably bad luck with that thing.
And then I will play my land for turn.
Yep.
Okay.
Overgrown farmland.
Oh my god, the Armorcraft Judge. Oh. So the landfall trigger on that Avenger of Zendikar is going to put 1/1 counters onto all of those plant tokens, which means now Zach will be able to blink the Armorcraft Judge and draw 13 cards.
And if he does that with all of the mana he has available, we are doomed.
So once again, I have to stop this bad thing from happening. In response to the landfall trigger on Avenger of Zendikar, I am going to play Infernal Grasp.
Whoa.
So I have 2 choices here. I can take out the Armorcraft Judge or Emiel. If I target the Judge though, Zach can just blink it in response with Emiel. However, his commander cannot blink itself. So if I take that out, it kind of turns off the whole engine. And Zach, I'm gonna choose Emiel.
All right, in response, I'm going to pay 3, and I'm gonna activate Emiel to flicker Avenger of Zendikar.
So it comes back in and makes 13 more plant tokens.
Makes 14 more plant tokens.
14 more. Oh god.
So Zach immediately the biggest threat again. How do we keep letting this happen?
And then Infernal Grasp will resolve, and Emiel will die. And I will put him back into the command zone.
Okay, and then sadly, Infernal Grasp also says I lose 2 life. So keeping with our theme,
The cycle continues.
yeah, I've now done 27 damage to myself.
Goodness. Okay, well, that's my commander gone, but I have a pretty massive board state, and looking at the state of things, this is gonna put me in a super strong position.
So now the landfall trigger resolves, and all 27 plants become 1/2s.
1/2s.
Oh no.
It's weird to say it, but this is actually the better outcome. Yes, Zach gets even more plant tokens, and they're all 1/2s, but he doesn't draw any extra cards, and that's really what I was trying to stop.
All right, well, everyone has shut down my draw all game, especially Josh Lee Kwai, so this spell's for you, Josh. And then I'm gonna finally attempt to cast the card that Josh was so fond of,
Oh.
Fracturing Gust.
Thankless person. Yeah, he really is a thankless
All right,
person.
hold on. We have a Mystic Remora trigger.
You want to pay 4 more?
Cannot.
Okay, I will draw. Boy, oh boy, that's gonna hurt. All right, all artifacts and enchantments go kablooey. This is really bad for me. I lose 7 permanents. Mind's Dilation, Mystic Remora, a bunch of mana rocks. All that stuff is gone now. It's a huge blow. I don't know how I recover from it.
So that was 7 from you, Josh, 2 from you, Jimmy, and 1 from my own Sword of Hearth and Home. So I will gain 20 life, going to 40.
Oh my god. Wow, this gains Zach a ton of life. But I've got him at 12 commander damage, so that's definitely still a possibility. If I can just deal 9 more commander damage to him, it won't matter how much life he's got.
And that's me tapped out. Over to you, sir.
Okay, still on end step. I'm gonna start by tapping 4, and I'm gonna cast Benevolent Offering.
Nice.
I gotta make some choices here. Looking around the table, I think Josh is actually my best ally right now. He's got answers, he's got responses to stuff, but he just needs a lot of life. So I think I'm gonna be able to help him out here.
Oh.
So you and me, Josh, we're gonna make some tokens and gain some life.
Oh yeah, I need the life really bad.
Yeah, so we both make 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens.
Kind of unfair, you know what I mean? The host teaming up.
Well, I guess I did kind of show them that I could one-shot anyone at any moment. So I guess it makes sense that Jimmy doesn't want to be friends anymore. I'll miss you, homie. I'll miss you. It was real while it lasted.
And then we're gonna gain 2 life for each creature that we control. So I'm gonna gain 12 life.
14 life for me.
I'm gonna go to 35.
And I will go to 25.
Yikes.
Not bad. This is big. I'll be able to use my Ancient Tomb again. I'm not gonna be insta-dead to whatever Aiury does next turn. It actually gives me a little bit of hope.
Gentlemen, are you ready?
Ready for what?
Behold!
Oh wow, Prof, it's beautiful. What is it?
It's the first ever Tolarian Community College game accessory, a deck box that I designed alongside the legendary accessory designer Adrian Alonso. We worked for a full year before arriving at the ultimate deck box, a deck box for everyone.
Well, it turned out great. It looks awesome. But what are we doing out here?
I'm glad you asked, Jimmy, because looks aren't everything. You guys know how important product quality is to me.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you're the guy. That's like your whole thing.
You're right, it's my entire personality. So, may I see one of your personal commander decks, please?
Yeah, sure.
No, just the cards. I want to place them in my deck box.
Sure.
I've already taken deck box design to the next level, but now it's time to take deck box testing also to the next level.
Okay. It is my favorite deck though, so can you just try and be careful?
First up, the chainsaw test.
Wait, what?
Should we have safety goggles too?
Probably. See? Not a scratch.
Oh, wow, that is really impressive. So, where can we buy them for ourselves?
And now, the sledgehammer test. Yeah! Success!
Okay, well, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Why don't you just give me my deck back and then we'll give people the link and they
The flamethrower test. The water test. And now, the electric test. And finally, the dynamite test.
No, Prof!
See? It's immaculate.
Tim, are you okay? Oh, everything's fine. Wow.
So what do you guys think?
Well, there's just one more test we have to run.
No, Jimmy, no more tests. Oh.
Are you just doing my shake test?
Yep. Huh, these magnets are pretty strong.
We give it an A+, I guess. The Academic Deck Box is a one-of-a-kind gaming accessory co-designed by the professor himself, but it's only available for a limited time. Follow the link in the description and order yours before it's too late. Get your hands on the most innovative deck box ever made. Again, follow the link in the description and place your order today. The deck box will not actually withstand chainsaws, sledgehammers, flamethrowers, jumper cables, or dynamite, but the shake test was 100% real. Feel free to shake it to your heart's content.
And that's me tapped out. Over to you, sir.
At the end of Zach's turn, I'm feeling pretty scared. We know that Aiury is trying to one-shot players with Infect now. Zach has a ton of creatures that are just gonna get bigger and bigger every single turn, and I don't know if we can keep up with that. All right, and then I will untap, and I will draw my card for the turn. I see.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a pretty good card to have
It's
right
a
now.
great card, yeah. The card I drew for this turn changes my position entirely, because I now have a really convenient answer to stop Zach from swinging at me. So I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to leverage that and cause a little bit of chaos. Let's go to combat. Shadrix is going to trigger again.
Do you want to put a 1/1 counter on all of Zach's creatures?
You know, that might be a fun thing to do, actually. Zach, I'm gonna put a 1/1 counter on all of your
Why
creatures.
not? All right.
And I'm gonna draw a card and lose a life.
I was kidding though. I was kidding. Why did that happen? What the heck?
Jimmy just gave all these plant tokens 1/1 counters. Why would Jimmy do that?
We have all watched Game Nights. We know how Jimmy works. He's not going to do you any favors if he's concerned about losing to you. So he's definitely got an answer for what I have on board.
You know the card I drew.
I do.
First I'm like, what is going on? And then I remember, I know the card that he drew for turn. It makes a lot of sense now. Why, you ask? What card is it? Well, I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm gonna fill you in on what's going on here since he's got Teferi's Protection. As I saw it, that's the card where I couldn't play it. It wasn't very useful to me.
Okay, so Jimmy has Teferi's Protection in his hand. When Jimmy casts Teferi's Protection, he's gonna phase out and his life total can't change. He's basically just assuming that all I'll be left with is to attack Aiury and Josh.
I'm actually totally fine with Josh revealing this information to the rest of the table, because the threat of me using this card to vanish away is now even more effective that everyone knows I have it.
So I guess he's just hoping that Zach just kills us both and he gets a free pass. That is not the answer I was hoping he had.
Yeah, so I now know his plan, which is let Zach kill us, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's a pretty good plan, I think.
So Jimmy's just trying to use me as a beat stick for his other opponents. And I'm kind of okay with it.
And then I'm gonna go to combat, and I'm gonna swing at you, Zach, for 6 more commander damage with Shadrix.
Righto, still have no blockers, so I will take 6. Going to 34.
How much commander damage is that now?
That is now 18 commander damage.
So any hit from Shadrix is game over?
That is my plan.
I'm sad to see that commander damage train keep a running. All it has to do is deal 3 damage to me, and I'm dead. So, this is scary.
I will pass the turn.
All right, I will untap. On upkeep. Oh, it's interesting. Will you Teferi's Protection in response to me Xanatharing you?
No.
I'm gonna pick Jimmy, because he probably has another board wipe or 2 in there.
Yeah, good luck. And that means I can't cast spells this turn. I'm choosing to let it resolve.
Interesting.
Okay, so I'll look at the card. It's not great. I'll draw. I will play the planes off the top of Jimmy's deck. I'll look at the new top card of his deck. It's another card that makes me lose life. But I'm at 25
You're back
now.
up.
At this point, yeah, we've got 27 2/3s staring you down, so.
All right, so we're in really big trouble now because Jimmy is gonna peace out and leave us to deal with a million huge plant tokens. Aiury and I gotta work together here, otherwise we're just definitely gonna be knocked out of this game right away.
Okay, Aiury.
Yes.
Listen, I have a card. It will help you tutor a card. All right. We need a board wipe. I don't have anywhere to draw the card that I'm gonna tutor when I do this. I think you know the card it is. So the deal I wanna make with you is if I let you tutor, will you tutor a board wipe and then play it during your turn?
So I guess everyone wants me tutoring cards this game. I like that, but this one comes with conditions. He wants me to get a board wipe. I know Josh is a master of politics, but me and Josh are kind of on the ropes together. We're both gonna be taken out by Zach. So let's do this.
I think I have to take that deal, Josh. Okay. I don't think I have any other options. Okay. I am going to play Scheming Symmetry, targeting myself and Aiury.
All right, this is good news. Aiury has agreed, gonna find a board wipe, gonna save us from the plant tokens, means I'm gonna survive. Now I just gotta figure out a game plan that moves us towards victory. Survival is not good enough, you're trying to win the game.
All right, and I will find this card, and I'll find this card. And we'll put it on top of our libraries. I wish I could draw mine, but I cannot. All right, Jimmy, I'm gonna play the card off the top of your library, which is Malakir Rebirth.
Oh, nice.
I'll target my Xanathar.
Sure.
And it does cost me life, so I got a 23. Man, even the cards I play off Jimmy's deck just keep hurting me. All right, let's take...
It's a land.
It's a land. Unfortunately, I hit the end of the road with Jimmy's deck and I can't play any more cards there. So I'm just gonna have to set myself up for next turn and trust in Aiury that our problems with the plant tokens are gonna be solved.
Then I'm gonna tap 2, and I'm gonna play a Dimir Signet, which feels like it is the height of doesn't matter at the moment. I guess everybody just blocks now since they know that there is a board wipe coming.
If you swing with me with that 1/4, I'll let you take the Monarch. So I know he's gonna draw the card he tutored off the Monarch, but maybe I'm hoping this goodwill will be good for me.
All right, deal. I will swing at Aiury with a 1/4. I will take 1. Okay. And I will become the Monarch.
Not bad.
And then I will go to my end step, and because I'm the Monarch, I will draw that card I tutored for earlier. I wish I would have thought of the Monarch thing.
Making too many deals with JLK.
Yeah, no. All right, go for it, sir.
All right, I will go to my untap step. I will draw for turn. Hey Josh, since I gave you the Monarch last turn, could I attack you with one of these Jimmy Goblins and get it back?
Sure, that seems fair.
I approve.
It's just 1 damage, I can take it.
All right, so I'm gonna move to combat and swing at Josh with a 1/1 Jimmy Goblin.
No blocks. I will take 1. And you will become the monarch.
Yay!
Congratulations. This is why it can often be good to be friendly with another player in the game because, you know, for 1 damage, we both get to draw an extra card. That seems like a pretty good situation, especially since we're clearly a team against Zach and probably Jimmy as well.
Now I'll start my second main phase by making good on the deal I made with you, Joss.
Okay.
And cast a Blasphemous Act.
Yay!
Yay!
Whoa. Oh my god, I am so sick of these board wipes. I need a board state for this deck to function. God.
Blasphemous Act is on the stack. Let's pass priority because I have a feeling some of us are gonna wanna do stuff.
The board wipe happening means that my commander is going to die, and that is really my only win condition against Zach, so I have to fire this off right now. Okay, I'm gonna tap 3 mana, and I will cast Teferi's Protection.
Uh-oh.
This is no surprise, we knew that Jimmy had this card, so he's gonna protect his board, and that's a little scary because he's gonna have his creatures when none of the rest of us do.
In response to Teferi's Protection,
So, we bait out Jimmy's Teferi's Protection, but my deck works at instant speed. I can try to take out his commander before it resolves.
I am going to tap 6 and sacrifice Cathari Bomber, Rakdos Guildmage, and Lyzolda to her own ability. Okay, targeting Shadrix.
Okay, so this is with Teferi's Protection on the stack, so,
Yes.
oh, you're trying to kill it before he phases out.
Boy, poofs.
Right. Oh, yep. This sequence makes a lot of sense and is really smart because Aiury is now going to be able to kill my commander before my Teferi's Protection resolves. This puts me into a really interesting position. I've got a backup plan and I was hoping to not have to use it, but it looks like I have no choice. In response, I'm going to tap 5 mana and my Westvale Abbey. I'm gonna sacrifice my Shadrix, a Fairy Rogue, a Goat, and 2 DJ tokens.
Oh, you're gonna make
Transform
Ormondal?
Westvale Abbey into Ormondal. Profane Prince. Yikes.
Wow, okay, so Jimmy now has a huge flying, indestructible, life-linking creature. That's scary, but I actually would prefer Jimmy to have 1 big threat than multiple, because my deck is more set up to like bounce something or handle 1 thing rather than a lot of stuff.
All right, the damage from your commander will not go anywhere because the target is now illegal.
Oh, bummer. And so you won't get to draw the 3 cards.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're back to Teferi's Protection is on the stack. I have no responses to Teferi's Protection.
I have no more response to Teferi's Protection.
All right, Teferi's Protection resolves?
Yeah. All right, see you guys later. Peace. The grand entrance for Ormondal, Profane Prince, is going to be cut short by Teferi's Protection, but he'll be right back after a short break.
All right, I do have a couple responses to Blasphemous Act. I'm gonna sack my Goat to my Woe Strider and scry 1. Put that on the bottom. Then I'm gonna sack this Village Bell Ringer and I will scry 1. Put that on the bottom. Listen, I'm gonna sack all 3 of my spirits and Xanathar.
Wow.
So I'll scry 1 4 times, so it's a little complicated, but look at this one, bottom. Look at this one, bottom.
Wow, the value.
Look at this one, bottom.
I don't know what he's
One
looking
more.
for.
Look
What's
at
he
this
looking
one.
for?
I don't know.
Oh, gee.
None of that. All right, and now we're down to Blasphemous Act is the only thing on the sack.
And before that resolves, I will tap my last swamp and cast Malakir Rebirth, targeting Siege Gang Commander.
That's pretty cool.
I lose 2 life.
Not bad.
And then finally, Blasphemous Act resolves and deals 13 to all creatures. All creatures.
So this is the 3rd board wipe, and most of the time they've directly been targeted at me. So despite the fact that my board's been wiped 3 times, at least I've been the big of a threat 3 times.
So the Malakir Rebirth brings the Siege Gang Commander back tapped, and I will make 3 more goblins.
Actually, still got a little bit of a board.
Not bad.
Overall, these turn of events is pretty good for me, I think. Aiury is able to do some clever stuff and still has a Siege Gang Commander and some goblins, but the imminent threat of immediate death is gone. It feels like I'm definitely gonna get another turn here, which is really what we were hoping for. So overall, happy with the outcome.
And then I'll go to my end step, and I will draw my card for the Monarch. Passing it to you.
Okay, let's untap all of these lands, then draw for turn. Well, let's see what we can hobble back to some sort of board state. I will cast Feldar Retreat.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I will play a Command Beacon,
Yep.
my land for turn. And when that enters, that will trigger Feldar Retreat, and I will get a 2/2 Cat Beast.
Nice.
All right, well, I'm basically just playing this card because I can. It nets me some bodies on the board, and it would be better earlier in the game when I had a lot more setup, but right now, it's just okay. I suppose I will sacrifice the command beacon, putting Emiel into my hand, and then I will tap 4. I will recast my commander, Emiel the Blessed.
Okay.
Then I will tap 2 and play the card that would have been a lot better a turn ago, Cryptolith Rite.
Oh boy.
So with this Cryptolith Rite and the board state I had last turn, I would have had 27 extra mana besides my lands. I could have flickered Armorcraft Judge, drawn a quarter of my deck every time, but now I can tap for 1 next turn. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna full shields down and tap 2 more for a Sylvan Library. And
So that's you're hellbent?
I'm hellbent.
No more cards in hand?
No cards in hand.
All right, well, it seems as if Zach's finally running out of gas here. He's not able to repopulate the board again like he has the last 3 times after a board wipe. That's good. Maybe it gives the rest of us a little bit of breathing room.
And
Okay.
Jimmy, pass it over to you, sir.
The good news here is that Zach is completely out of cards, and he's gonna have to spend life with that Sylvan Library in order to rebuild that hand. This is my chance to surge ahead and put myself in the commanding position. Okay, so I will phase back in.
You're back.
Welcome back!
I will untap and draw my card for the turn. Okay, I will tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm gonna cast my commander, Shadrix Silverquill, once more.
Not good.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to tap a blue and a colorless, and I'm gonna memory lapse your Shadrix.
Oh, so it goes on top of my library instead of the graveyard?
If you want to do that, obviously you can put it in the command zone if you want.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna put Shadrix on the top of my deck then. I was really hoping to get my commander back out because I really need that card draw and just a way to sort of get over the top of everyone else. So resetting me like this feels pretty bad. And then I will go to combat, and Josh, I will swing at you for 10 in the air, 9 of it lifelink.
Okay, I will take 10 and go to 12.
Okay, I will gain 9 and go to 43.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm back down to 12. It's a little scary because obviously I could go down at any time, but I'm still in it. I'm not out yet. Let's see what I can do.
And that's it for me. I'll pass turn to you, Josh.
Okay, I will untap. Everyone's at such high life totals.
Yeah.
How many cards does everyone have? I know you have 0, Zach.
I hold on.
7.
5.
Okay, I have a card. It's very powerful. Unfortunately, my opponents are at really high life totals, so I don't think it's gonna win on the spot, but it's definitely gonna do a lot of damage and make a big splash. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna play it and find out. All right, I'm gonna tap Cabal Coffers and Ancient Tomb, going to 10.
Okay.
That will add 5 black mana to my mana pool.
Okay.
Then I will add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'll play Torment of Hailfire,
Whoa!
where X is equal to 12.
Josh! So the way this is gonna work is we either have to discard a card, sacrifice a non-land permanent, or lose 3 life? I don't have that much life or cards to sack. Am I gonna have to lose my hand?
Okay, so let's go around the table and decide what everybody's gonna do.
We have 12 times to do this.
12 times to do this.
So because I have no hand to discard a Torment of Hailfire, all I can do is sack non-land permanents and take damage, and I have very few permanents. This is gonna hurt.
All right, I'm gonna sack my 3 goblins. I'm gonna discard 2 cards, and I'm gonna take 21 damage, going to 6.
Whoa.
And I will sack the cat token, Cryptolith Rite, and Felidar Retreat. And take 27. Going to 7.
And I'm gonna discard 2 cards, sacrifice my spirit token, and take 27 damage, going from 43 to 16.
Yeah.
Well, that's a quick way to progress us in the game. How about that?
Certainly.
So this spell is a little bit of an equalizer. It brings everyone down to a very even level, and I have no cards in hand. I'm top decking, so hopefully they won't be looking my way.
Josh kind of did me a favor here because everyone's within one-shot range of my Ormondal. I just have to replay my commander, pump my Ormondal to 10, and I can kill anyone. It gives me a ton of power in this position, and I'm feeling great about it.
Okay,
What do you do now?
so the dust clears from the Torment of Hailfire, and I'm pretty happy with the results. My opponents lose a bunch of cards, a bunch of their board is gone. It's possible that I can steal the game. I have one more big play left. I'm gonna pay a black, and I'm gonna cast Reanimate,
Oh!
and I'm gonna target the Avenger of Zendikar. And then I have 11 lands. So I will make 11 plant tokens. Whoa. So it's 7 mana value, so I will take 7 and go to 3.
So I know that really, as long as your life total is less than 10, Ormondal can one-shot you. So I get Josh making this play, but still, 3 life is precarious.
3 life means I can kill him with 2 creatures. He kind of put his life in my hands, or Jimmy's hands. What is he thinking?
I'm not totally like an insane person here. I know I'm dead to Jimmy in the air, so
Right.
I did think slightly ahead.
Oh?
I already probably has direct damage, which I can't do anything about. But I will play my land for turn, which is a Maze of It. And all of my plant tokens will get a 1/1 counter.
Okay. Oh, this is what Josh was planning. This card is a perfect antidote to my Ormondal because he can just remove it from combat, denying me the life gain and the ability to kill someone.
So not only does this land pump up all my plant tokens, but also it is an answer for Ormondal. I am currently not dead on board. And if I get one more turn, I think those plant tokens can win the game. That was exciting. Stuff happened.
That it was.
To you, sir.
All right.
Godspeed. Good luck.
Godspeed.
Let's see what I can do.
Let's do it.
All right. I will untap. So, Jimmy, who's this Ormondal coming at?
I don't know. You tell me.
So, that Maze of It could also save me from the Ormondal. And since I can kill Josh at any point, I have his life in my hand. I can make any deal I want with him.
If I give you one more turn, would you Mazevith the Ormondal if he comes at me?
Oh, this is really, really good because Aiury is reaching out to me to try and make a deal. I don't want to get burned out of nowhere, so I don't even have to think about it. I'm definitely taking any deal that's offered.
Deal. All right.
Okay, so this deal might have just killed me because now Jimmy knows that if he attacks Josh or Aiury, that Ormondal gets mazed. So I think I know where it's going.
All right. In that case, I am still gonna Bojuka Bog you, Josh.
Alright.
Sure.
All right, my graveyard is exiled.
And then I'm gonna transmute Shred Memory.
Okay.
So I'm gonna search my library for a card that's exactly 2 mana value.
Sure.
So, I can get anything with 2 CMC out of my deck, and most of my deck is 2 mana value, but I'm looking through my deck. I don't see anything here. There's no Rakdos Charm. There's nothing. All my answers are 3 mana.
And I'm gonna find Glistening Oil. So that card goes into my hand.
Interesting.
I actually like seeing the glistening oil here because I'm at 3 life. You don't need poison to take me out. If you're going to find an infect card, that means you're going for the player who is above 10 life, like Jimmy.
And then I'll go to combat and swing at Jimmy for 2.
Well, I can't block, so I'm gonna take 2 damage and go to 14.
And then I pass the turn.
All right, sir. Okay, I know things are looking really grim here, but I get to look at 3 cards this turn. I got a lot in this deck that could theoretically remove some things, draw me some cards, get me right back into it. So let's see what we get.
Hold on. In your upkeep,
Oh no.
I'm going to tap for a black and a white, and I'm gonna cast Fracture and destroy your Sylvan Library.
Wow.
Okay. I got nothing to say about it. Oh, Jimmy, why? How would Craig say this? Jimmy.
The thing that I'm most scared about from Zach is my Ormondal getting blinked or bounced. And if he gets to look at 3 cards off the top of his library, that's 3 chances to potentially remove the threat that's gonna kill him.
All right, let's see what we get. Oh, well, it's a pretty little card, but it doesn't do a whole lot for me. Well, let's go ahead and bring out the only other unicorn in the deck. Good Fortune Unicorn.
Not much good fortune here, though.
To end the game.
I hope I get lucky.
What an omen of times to come. Yeah, we'll trigger Emiel. And why not? Let's go ahead and pay a white, and I'll put a +1/+1 counter on Good Fortune
2
Unicorn.
+1/+1.
2, because it is a unicorn.
Good fortune!
All right, well, I played what I can. This card doesn't do a whole lot for me here. I'm empty-handed. Have at it, Jimmy. I suppose just to mitigate it, Jimmy,
Yeah.
4 at you.
Okay, I'll take 4 and I'll go to 10.
Yep, we're hellbent. Jimmy, take it away.
I'll untap. I'll draw my card for turn, which we know is my commander. I'll go to combat. Zach, brings me no joy to say this. I'm gonna swing at you with Ormondal Profane Prince for 9 damage in the air.
Well, he's going for it. Come on, Josh.
I wonder if I should
right.
maze it. Hold on.
What? Why'd you do that, Josh?
So Jimmy goes for Zach here. Makes sense. I feel like it's the only target he had with the deal I had with Josh, but I just realized he's gonna gain 9 life off it. Maybe Josh should maze it.
So I do consider saving Zach here. I could do it with my Maze of Ith. And it would deny Jimmy this life gain. However, then he would have a blocker up for when I attack, probably gain the life anyway. And then that's another player in the game that I have to worry about cracking back on me. I already don't know exactly how I'm gonna defeat Aiury and that burn deck. So I think it's just more advantageous if we're down to 3 players. I think I have a better chance.
Unfortunately, Zach, I passed priority.
Got anything to say, sir?
I got nothing.
All right, I got no blocks. I will take 9. Going in dead.
Going to dead.
Going to dead.
I will move to the dead phase.
So, I guess I die to a profane prince. Oh, my lord. Oh, that's disgusting.
And I'm gonna gain 9 and go up to 19.
Not good.
So Zach is gone. It's just 3 of us. We clearly have to figure out how to take out Jimmy. That Ormondal is gonna kill either of us. I gotta get my impact plan going again.
Unfortunately, when Zach dies, that means I lose my Avenger of Zendikar. Maybe I should have saved him.
The downside of Zach getting KO'd here is I do lose that Avenger of Zendikar because it is his card. It's okay though, I still have all those plant tokens, and if I team up with Aiury, I think we can still take Jimmy out, and maybe I'll have 1 turn to try and figure out what I'm gonna do to stop all that burn that's definitely coming at me.
And then I'll pass turn.
What are you holding up all your mana for?
So Jimmy definitely has a plan here. Not playing his commander, he couldn't have telegraphed it any more clearly. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely got something.
All right, we will untap, and then I will draw for turn.
I'm sure Jimmy has some tricky stuff up his sleeve. I mean, he didn't leave all his mana open for nothing. But we're just at the point in the game, I just can't afford to play around anything. So I just gotta go for it.
I will go to combat. Jimmy, I'm gonna swing at you with my 11 plant tokens.
Okay, I suppose I cannot declare any blockers.
Okay, before damage, I will activate my Vault of the Archangel and give all my creatures lifelink and death touch.
Wow.
So Josh is gonna gain 11 life here. That will put him out of my range again, but it will put Jimmy back into my range. And honestly, I'm more scared of Jimmy than Josh. I still have my infect cards in hand. I don't think I'm worried about this. I'd rather kill Jimmy first.
In response, I will tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Uh-oh.
and cast Ink Shield.
Ah, come on.
Oh no.
This card's just so good right now. It's pretty much the worst card I could think of. Stops the combat damage, so I don't gain the life. And Jimmy gets 1,000,000 flyers.
Okay, so no damage is dealt, and you make how many 2-1s?
11.
11.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Seems okay.
So Jimmy mitigated all the damage. He's still at 19 life. He has a huge board of flyers. What do I do?
I feel so good about my position because I now have enough damage to take out both of the remaining players on my turn, and I've got blockers for days, so I feel really protected against whatever Aiury's trying to do.
Okay, then I'm gonna play a Temple of the False God. I will tap that for a Talisman of Dominance. And
You could kill yourself right now.
No, hold on. Then I'm gonna tap for 10, and I'm gonna cast my commander, Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. I did tap Ancient Tomb in there, so I will go to 1. Woo! Then I'll end my turn.
So things are pretty dire. I have a single removal spell in my hand, which I can hold up, but it's not gonna help me against 11 flying 2/1 tokens. I can hope that Jimmy messes up, doesn't attack me with enough. Maybe I sneak in and win. Doesn't seem likely. I hope Aiury's got some sort of answer. Otherwise, this game is almost over.
All right, I'll go to untap, and I will draw for turn.
All right, so I've been holding up this answer since my opening hand for exactly this moment. Hopefully this gets us out of it.
Let's do it. I'm going to cast Last One Standing. Oh, nice.
There's another board wipe in this game. I never thought I'd be so happy to see one. Maybe we will live. I mean, yeah, my plant tokens and my commander will probably die, but it means I'll almost certainly get another turn. This is great.
I'm gonna hold priority and respond to that.
Okay.
Oh. And cast Feign Death on Siege Gang Commander. Interesting.
So last one standing, you can't respond to after it resolves. So I have to hold priority here and feign death before I know what anyone else is gonna do. There's a possibility that Siege Gang is gonna live anyways, but I think this is a safe play.
Okay, so what we should do is number every creature.
Hold on. A board wipe was the last thing that could potentially stop me from taking this game, but I'm protected against that too. In response, I'm going to cast Akroma's Will.
Oh, come on.
Oh no.
And I'm gonna give all my creatures indestructible until end of turn.
Of course. Jimmy, how do you have all the answers, man?
So, yep, last one standing does destroy creatures. Akroma's Will makes Jimmy's creatures indestructible. They're all gonna live. It was a good last try, but we are definitely dead to those flyers in the air.
Well, in response, I'm going to activate Castle Locthwain. Draw a card and lose 5 life.
Wow, it's an expensive card.
Yeah, that draw gave me nothing. I guess that'll resolve.
All right, so all Jimmy's stuff is indestructible.
Yikes.
Now we need to randomly choose one creature.
Yeah, between 12.
So you've got 12, I've got 12, so there's 25 total.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, I guess, is 1 through 12 is here, 13 through 24 is there, and 25 is that?
Yeah, so it's basically divided by 4.
Yeah.
Here we go. So 48. Okay, so Jimmy's Inkling is protected, even though it's also protected by indestructibility. And then last one standing blows everything up.
Siege Gang Commander will come back tapped because of Feign Death. And I will make 3 more goblins. And that'll be it for me. Pass turn to you, Jimmy.
All right, I think I'm ready to close this thing out, so let's do it in style. I'm gonna cast my commander, Shadrix Silverquill, once more.
Yep.
Tap another 3 and play Teysa or drop Scion. I'll go to combat. Trigger, who wants to draw the card and lose 1 life?
Oh, me.
You? Okay.
I feel like it has to go to Josh.
Josh, I'll let you draw a card and I'll let me put a +1/+1 counter on my creatures. And I'll swing out.
Oh, wait, yeah. Let me die.
Oh, sorry.
Let me die the way that I live, drawing cards.
Yep.
And then I die to drawing a card, which is honestly not so bad.
And then I'll swing everything at you, Aiury.
I guess this is it. Jimmy's swinging all out. I had one goal in this game, to take out someone with Infect. I guess that someone's gonna have to be me. Well, Jimmy,
Yes.
I'm gonna tap this Badlands to cast a Tainted Strike
Oh my god.
on your Ormondal.
Well, I believe that will resolve, and Ormondal now has yet another keyword added to his many.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody die to regular damage and infect damage at the same time.
So, I guess I died to Infect and regular combat damage at the same time?
All right, good game.
Good game. And so I win with the Profane Prince of Infect. Woohoo! That was an incredible game of Magic. Honestly, I'm just so impressed at what our fans brought to the table.
My deck really showed its strength here. Even though I was mana screwed, I was still impacting the game the whole time. I'm really proud about that.
I gotta say, it's a very surreal experience playing in the game night set. This whole trip has been a dream. We got to come in yesterday and meet all these new great people. I got in so many games of Commander. This has been amazing.
I never expected to be inside the YouTube screen. Yo, and then they pulled up with more Magic cards than I've ever seen in my life, and some deck boxes, and some posters, and some custom wooden tokens? Bruh, what is my life?
The fan episode is always one of my favorite to record each and every year. It's just so great to interact with our audience members, our patrons, people who have supported us for so long. And hopefully this was an experience that they'll never forget. I know we won't. All right, wow, what a game, epic.
What a game. Turns out removal, pretty good. I needed all of it to beat that because I was terrified that he was gonna take it at that last end.
Zach's deck just kept bouncing back. And you know, I already had some trouble early on, but really was scary near the end of that game. I was
Yeah.
like, he's gonna burn out of nowhere and win this game, isn't he? So,
He got real, and he had some, after talking with him after the game, there were a lot of different lines that had he drawn correctly, he could have ended it on the spot too.
Yeah.
So really, a really tense game.
yeah, really fun. Great to have the fans in the house competing with us. Of course, the Game Nights auditions are going on right now. We're going to give some more details in just a second. But we have to thank our sponsors.
Yes.
ChannelFireball.com/command. That is the affiliate link you want to use if you are ordering Magic product singles, anything at all. They've got their marketplace up and running. I've used it many times now.
Same.
I've had a great experience every time. They got a lot of inventory, a lot of vendors. The prices are very good. They are really good at sealed products because all of their vendors are LGSs. They vet them all so that they have to have be part of the WPN and everything else to even be on the Channel Fireball marketplace, which means that they get good prices on sealed products. So I've had a good time buying boxes to draft with and things like that and finding good prices. And another thing we forgot to mention earlier, but if you just use the code COMMAND at checkout, that can save you if you forgot to type in channelfireball.com/command, which I always forget.
Yeah, you are investing your money into products, so you want to trust that product, and channelfireball.com/command is the place to do it. And Ultra Pro is the place to go if you want to protect the cards that you're buying, especially if you're buying something that's high value. Maybe you saw a cool play in this Game Nights episode that you want to recreate. Well, now that you've got those cards and you're going to put them into the best sleeves, the Eclipse sleeves, Ultra Pro again makes the greatest stuff across the board. They have playmats. Really, if you are looking for a way to customize your sort of setup, you want to have your collection in literally just pink binders, Ultra Pro is gonna be the place to go to get that stuff. And of course, all of your local game stores carry that product as well. They refresh it every single time a new set comes out with all of the brand new art. So really, when it comes to customizing, protecting, and just making your stuff look the coolest, we have Ultra Pro to thank for all of it.
Yeah, and another thing to thank Ultra Pro for is that every Game Nights episode, they give us a bunch of swag to give away to you, the viewers out there. We also have all the playmats signed by everybody that was in the game. We also throw in some booster packs and things like that. So if you want to enter to win that stuff, Jimmy, how do they enter?
Super simple. 3 different ways to enter, and you can enter every single way for 3 chances to win on Twitter. Use the hashtag Game Nights when you make a brand new tweet and just put a link to the episode. Say whatever you want. As long as it has the hashtag as well as the link, you're good to go on that entry. If you're on Facebook, navigate your way to our Facebook page, find the post that shares this episode of Game Nights, and in the comments, tag someone that maybe you think should audition to be on Game Nights or someone that you think would enjoy the show, and that'll be your entry there. Finally, on Instagram, real simple, just make a post. Use the hashtag Game Nights, post whatever you want. Doesn't even need to be related to the episode. And what we do is we take 1 week from the release date of this episode to open up those submissions for the giveaway. And at the end of that week, we close it, we choose the winners, and you might be one of them.
Yeah. So remember, 1 week from the release of this episode, so March 30th, we are going to choose the winners. Once we've chosen and announced the winners, you can no longer enter to win. So, maybe
so much value.
Hit pause real quick, go and enter, but you're going to want to come back because we're going to talk about the Patreon and the Game Nights auditions. Yeah. So if you want to be just like Zach and Aiury or the
Jacob,
other,
past,
the fan Millie, the fans we've had in the past, Matthew, if you want to have your chance to come, we're going to fly the winners out to Los Angeles. We're going to put them up in hotels. They're going to hang out with us. They are going to shoot an episode of Game Nights.
They're going to play Commander with the gang and everyone as well.
Yep, it is a fun hangout time. We always have them come for a couple of days, really get to know them. It's a really fun experience. We love it every time we can do it. Obviously, the pandemic made it take a little longer last time.
Take a little break.
But this is the thing we want to continue to do moving forward. There is going to be a link in the show notes to the auditions, just the requirements. There's a bunch of legal stuff in there. But the long story short is that you need to be a patron of the show before you can enter. And then there are some other things. You need to be 18 or older, though, again, just for legal reasons and a few other things. The upside here, Jimmy, is that not only does joining the Patreon, because it's totally fine to join our Patreon just to audition for the show.
Yes, in fact, we encourage that. Again, this is just the way for us because we would get a billion auditions, so we have to have sort of a little bit of processing so that we don't get super overwhelmed.
If you're at the lowest tier, it's totally fine. You can still audition to be on the show. But if you go to our Patreon right now, there's a bunch of other reasons you might want to check it out if you haven't in the past. And the big one is that we've totally revamped all the rewards in the tier system. We have added a ton of stuff that wasn't there before. So there's more merchandise than there ever was. We've got bonus content that we are planning to produce that only the patrons get to see.
Some's already been produced as well, so you'll get access to that instantly.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. And then, really exciting one is that we are opening up a schedule to play spell table games with our patrons.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, myself, our team, we're going to put up a schedule every month, and we're going to have times where you will have the chance to play Commander games with us over spell table, which I'm really excited about interacting with our community more.
Yeah, this is one of the most requested things we've had from the beginning, and thanks to the technology of Spell Table, we are actually able to play with our fans, and so that's going to be at a tier on the Patreon. And above everything else, you're also just supporting our show in the most direct way possible. We have our sponsors and we love them, but the best way to sort of get into our community on our Discord to ask us questions and to talk with us, really just actually get one-to-one interaction with us, is by joining the Patreon.
Yeah, I will say we have our sponsors and things like that, but the backbone of our content and what makes us able to even be a channel and continue to do this is really our patrons. So the people that support us that way, you are really making it possible for the content you enjoy to exist. We can't thank you enough. Well, but we can thank you by maybe giving you a chance to be on game nights and the auditions and things like that. So really look forward to hearing and seeing your auditions and what you come up with. Again, all the details of how to enter are going to be in the show notes. Make sure you follow that link. Yeah. But there are going to be some people just like Zach and Aiury, and maybe these people can finally, come in and knock us out, because we've protected home court advantage up till now.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, but this time it was dicey this time around. But yeah, hopefully we'll see. Maybe you will be that person to beat us on game nights in front of millions of people. It's kind of like when I was growing up, and I don't know if you remember this, but there was kids that would do like Toys R Us toy runs.
Right, yeah.
This is what it feels like. This is your chance to have that opportunity to be on the thing that you love and play against Josh and myself, and more importantly, become our friends. I consider myself friends with all of the fans that play on the show so far.
Yeah, we keep up with all of them even to this day. So that's a great thing. I do want to say one more thing that I forgot to mention earlier as well, which is we've already committed to doing auditions later this year for extra turns as well. So the power just went off in here, but somehow things are still recording. Oh, did we just blow a circuit?
Recording? No, this one's going too. Yeah, we lost.
The audio's still going?
Yeah.
And the power went out. And the show must go on, but also the show's over. So
this is like the building telling us to get the heck out.
They're like, you're talking too much, guys.
Scooch,
we're excited to tell people about the auditions.
Yes, we are, very much so. And we're excited for you to audition as well.
All right, I guess we should go before all the rest of the lights turn off.
I'm kind of scared now.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye.